The difficult task to identify the miners who died in a fiery crash in Musina continues. 22 people were killed when a bus collided with a heavy-duty truck before bursting into flames. Some of the victims were burnt beyond recognition. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is in Limpopo for us and joins us live this morning. Nqobile, one of the other issues that have emerged from this heartbreaking incident is that the heavy-duty truck may not have been roadworthy. What's the latest on that score?
Well, yes, Michelle, and that is something that's currently being investigated, and we will hear shortly from the police. But our TMC is also on the ground trying to see what really occurred. So they are also part of that investigating task team that's looking into the matter. So I'm going to bring in now the police to speak to us about that issue. This is a very tragic story. I mean, a lot of people have lost their lives. Tell us what you are investigating.
Yeah, it is true, very tragic, as you said. We are currently investigating a case of culpable homicide, but our investigation is so wide such that there is quite a number of things that we need to establish, including the issue of the identity of the deceased and any other possibility in terms of what might come out of the investigation itself.
But we are hearing that the truck could potentially not have the right documents and so on. Tell us a bit about that.
I just spoke to the investigator now. That is part of the investigation that we are undergoing currently to establish if all, for example, if the driver himself had all the necessary documentation or not. It's part of the investigation which we are busy with currently.
The driver, do we know if the driver of the truck that you are currently investigating, if he's alive or he passed on?
No, the information that we got is that both the drivers, they passed on for both the bus and the truck. They passed on. So up to so far, we have got about 6 bodies which have been identified, but other 14 we're still busy trying to locate their relatives. And part of the investigation is that tomorrow we're having a team which is coming from Pretoria, a team of experts who will come also to help us in terms of the investigation.
What is this team going to be doing?
What
is this team going to be doing differently to what you have done?
They are going to help us in terms of maybe checking the cause of the accident itself, the issue of identification. So the investigation is wide, like I earlier on indicated.
And I mean, you say 6 people have been identified. I can imagine this has been difficult for a lot of families. Have you had any chance to interact with them?
Our members on the ground, they are busy interacting with the family. As you may be aware, it's a teamwork actually. It's not only our members, the municipalities involved, all other stakeholders, they are part of what we are busy with, because we are dealing with a tragic incident, like you earlier on rightfully indicated.
And this task team, how long is it going to be in place for whilst you look into this matter?
Well, they will be around for as long as they are busy with the investigation, and when they are done, obviously we'll move on with other related matters.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us about that. But before I let you go, I would like you to perhaps explain, give us a little bit of understanding. We know that you have arrested a 32-year-old. Perhaps give us what was happening there.
I'm not sure which 32 are you talking about.
We understand there's a GBV case of an individual that was stabbed with an unknown weapon, and we understand that you've arrested a 32-year-old. This is, of course, a breakthrough for you. Can you perhaps explain to us what was happening there?
Okay. Yeah, the case that you are talking about, I believe you are talking about the Mapulering case. Yeah, it's true, a 32-year-old has been arrested following the fatal stabbing of a 27-year-old who happened to be the girlfriend of the 32. We understand that they had an argument, and that argument turned ugly, and then the 32 stabbed the 27-year-old and then left her for dead. And then the sister of the suspect, when he came, he found the lady lying on bed, and the emergency services were called, and when they were called, the lady was certified dead on the scene. So a search for the suspect was launched, and eventually he was arrested. So as we are talking now, we will be appearing before Nqobile Magistrate Court on charge of murder. Hence, our Provincial Commissioner of Police in Limpopo, Lieutenant General Tembi, had condemned this incident of GBV. Meanwhile, also praising the police for effecting arrest.
Is this something that happens quite often in Limpopo? Are you seeing more cases of this GBV or of this nature?
GBV incidents in the province, it's a problem. They are happening from time to time, like you rightfully indicating. They are happening here and there, but then it's a problem because if you keep on reporting about them from time to time, then it means it's a problem.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is, of course, the spokesperson of SAPS in Limpopo, and of course very tragic what we're hearing from the people that have passed on because of that accident, as well as this 27-year-old that has also passed on from GBV.
So 6 people identified insofar as that vehicle accident involving those 22 miners. Nqobile, did we hear correctly? Only 6 identified so far?
Yes, they are currently identifying some of the members of these families. You will remember this is going to be very difficult, Michelle, mainly because most of the people are burned beyond recognition. So a lot needs to go into that. You can hear from the spokesperson saying that there's a lot more people that are going to come in to assist. There's a task team already that is investigating what happened. And in terms of who are these people, we do know that they worked at the mine, and the mine itself also has been communicating with us, explaining that it's been such a difficult time. We understand that some of the colleagues of these individuals are currently also going through and counseling because they've gone through such a hectic time. So a lot of families will be going through that counseling as well, which will be provided by social development as well as the mine, whilst they try to identify the members of the family that have passed away.
Thanks very much indeed for that update.